What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to do a comparison between the Vivo X Note and the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Now, this is just a comparison. There's no need for anybody to get all in their feelings. If they hear something negative said about their phone, look, at the end of the day, it's just tech, okay? Everybody has their preferences. It's not that deep. Of course, some will say this is not a fair comparison because this phone is fairly, new compared to this phone. And that is true. But at the end of the day, it's just a comparison. There's some people that want to purchase newer devices. There are certain people that like to purchase older devices. But they may want to, know which one to choose between these two. Maybe these are the two they're thinking about in their mind. Should I go with the X Note? Should I go with the Samsung Galaxy Note? So I'm just here to give you a comparison and to give you some options to which one you may want to pick up. All right, let's get started. Now, I'm going to say this from the beginning. This is not going to be some 10-minute video. None of my comparisons are super short. They're going to be long because they're pretty much extensive. So I can't make no 10-minute comparison because I go a lot deeper when I compare phones, as compared to other YouTubers that do it differently. I go a lot deeper when I talk about when I'm comparing devices. So please bear with me if you're able to. All right, so let's get started. The Vivo X Note was released in 2022. So this phone is just a little over a year old. Excuse me. And the Note 20 Ultra came out in 2020. So there is a 3-year difference between these two devices. Next, both devices are unlocked for all carriers. And that's good news because most of the time these Chinese devices are not unlocked for all carriers. But this one is. It did work on my T-Mobile and AT&T. Only difference is with AT&T I only got 4G, but with T-Mobile I get 5G. And of course we all know Samsung works on every carrier. All right, first thing, let's talk about the presentation. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is really not a discussion. With the Vivo X Note, you're getting a way better presentation. You're getting a presentation the way, consumers deserve to have their phones presented to them. You get a beautiful box. Check out my unboxing and first impressions of this device. You get a nice thick box, nice and square. You get a case, you get headphones, and you get an 80-watt charger in the box. The presentation is awesome. Check out my video on my unboxing and first impressions and you'll see for yourself. With the Samsung, all you getting is a charger. That's it. That's it. No case, no fancy box presentation, no nothing. Just a charger, no headphones, nothing. So this is not the way you want to be presented when you're spending a bunch of money on a device. X Note, hands down, way better when it comes to presentation. Next, let's talk about design. Now, of course, this is going to be subjective, no question about it. But if I had to choose when it comes down to design, I'm going to go with the Note 20 Ultra. I just like the design better. I love the color. I love the camera setup and the color of the camera rings. Same color as the back of the device. I love this frosted back. I just like it a little bit better. Now, I do like the Vivo. I don't have any phone that looks like this. So this has a unique design in itself. Now, if this had like a little, a display back here, now that would have been hot. I would have took it over the Note. But the Note is something about this phone that just looks so elegant. Very elegant, very beautiful. So when it comes to design, I got to go with the Note 20 Ultra. Next, let's talk about build quality. Both devices come with Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and the back, so it's even when it comes to that. Next, let's talk about button placement. Now, button placement is great on both because all the buttons are on the right, and the power button is the first button you touch. and the volume rockers are above like they're supposed to be on the device. At least that's the way I like it. Now, for those of you that like the button placement of the Google Pixels, all right, more power to you. I hate that button placement. Next, let's talk about always on display. Both of these have a always on display. But if I had to choose between who had the best always on display, I gotta go with Samsung. Samsung's always on display is more customizable, and it can get a lot brighter, and I always can see the fingerprint sensor, which I like. Also, you get your notifications on the always on display, unlike the Vivo. For some reason, the only thing on the Vivo you get as far as always on display, as far as notifications, is a missed phone call or a text message. You're not getting any other notifications on this always on display. I think that was a big mistake by Vivo. I believe that's something they can rectify just in software, but they need to fix that, because what's the point of having an always on display if you can't even see your notifications? So when it comes to the always on display, I'm going with Samsung's Note 20 Ultra. Oh, both are customizable, but Samsung's always on display is even more customizable than that of the Vivo. Next, Face Unlock. Now, this is no contest. Now, both come with Face Unlock, but Vivo X Note is far superior to that of the Samsung Face Unlock. It's not even close. There's not even any competition. This is much faster, more accurate, and the animation is so buttery smooth. Samsung is just sometimey. The animation is not that great, and it's just not that accurate. So, Vivo got that Face Unlock on lock. Next, let's talk about the in-display fingerprint sensor. Now, both of these devices have an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor, so both are highly secure. But which one has the best fingerprint sensor? Hands down is the Vivo Note. The Vivo X Note is far superior and better than that of the Samsung's Note 20 Ultra. It's not even close, okay? You get a nice animation, you get haptic feedback, and I only have to put the side of my thumb on this thing for it to open. This thing opens up 100% of the time. The Note 20 Ultra can be kind of funny. It's just not that great. There's no haptic feedback. There's no real animation. I just don't like it all that much. It's not that accurate either. So when it comes to biometrics altogether, the Vivo X Note is far and away better than that of the Note 20 Ultra. Next, let's talk about the dual stereo speakers. Both of these devices come with dual stereo speakers. Both sound real good, but I have to be honest, when it comes down to overall quality of sound, I like the sound of the Note 20 Ultra a little bit better than that of the X Note. Now, the X Note is nice, but it's hard to explain. It's just missing a little bit of that stereo sound, and the Note 20 Ultra can get just a little bit louder. So I wish the speakers were a little bit better, but I got to go with the Note 20 when it comes to dual stereo speakers. Next, both of these devices are IP68 water and dust resistant. So there's no issue when it comes to water or dust. You covered. Next, let's talk about RAM management. Now, this one comes with 8 gigs of RAM, the X Note, and the Note 20 Ultra comes with 12 gigs of RAM. Now, with the Vivo X Note, you can extend the RAM. So I could extend the RAM by 12. So right now, I have 20 gigs of RAM on this device. Now, I don't need that much on a Samsung. It gets great RAM management. And also, the Vivo gives me great RAM management. So you're not going to have a problem with either when it comes to RAM management. Next, let's talk about the display. Now, the Vivo comes with a 7-inch Quad HD Plus LTPO 120 Hz AMOLED display with a peak brightness of 1500 nits. And I'm going to show you the display in a minute. I just want to give you the specs. With the Note 20 Ultra, you're getting a 6.9-inch Quad HD Plus HDR10 Plus dynamic AMOLED display with 120 Hz refresh rate with a peak brightness of 1500 nits. Unfortunately, you can't use Quad HD and the 120 hertz refresh rate at the same time. You only can use 1080p. However, with the Vivo, you can use Quad HD with the 120 hertz refresh rate. Now, which one has the better display? Now, of course, this may be subjective to you. It ain't subjective to me. I'm going to give my honest opinion. Now, both of these have 1500 nits peak brightness, but for some odd reason, the Vivo X Note looks brighter. And the colors pop a lot more on the Vivo X Note. The screen looks brighter and the colors definitely pop a lot more on the Vivo X Note. So based on my eyes, the Vivo X Note has the better display. And actually you can see the Vivo X Note has a bigger footprint. I mean, this is a 7-inch display, but it's not just the height, it's a wider display. So you can see the Vivo X Note is huge. It's a big phone. Okay, the Note 20 Ultra is going to be a little bit more one-handed friendly compared to that of the Vivo X Note, unless you have really large hands. Okay, so it's a lot easier for me to navigate the Note 20 Ultra over the X Note with one hand because I don't have huge hands. But I still prefer, the X Note because I just love how big it is. I love big giant phones, so I'm cool with the size of this phone. That's why I bought it. Love it. All right. Next, let's talk about the battery life. This is another one that's not even close. So the Vivo X Note comes with a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and the Note 20 Ultra comes with a 4,500 milliamp hour battery. Now, of course, I know that this battery is smaller than this battery, but it's just 500 milliamp hours. But I'm going to tell you the truth. The battery life on the Note 20 Ultra is just not good. It's okay. I have a lot of battery anxiety with this device. I mean, I can get through a day, but barely. Now, a 17-hour day? No, I can't get through, like, a day for me is 17 hours. I can barely get through a 17-hour day with this unless I use this phone light. Like light to medium, not moderate to heavy, light to moderate. With the Vivo X Note, super heavy, moderate to heavy, I can get a day and a half easily. At the end of a day, I got over 60% battery left at the end of a full day with this phone. The battery on this phone is a monster. It's a monster. Now, for some reason, Samsung really did not optimize the battery on this device properly. And to be honest, this phone should have had a 5,000 milliamp hour battery like the S20 Ultra does. I don't know why they put a smaller battery in this device and gave us such a big, large screen, and then gave us such high nittage. But the battery is just okay. I get battery anxiety with this device. Zero battery anxiety with the Vivo X Note. So when it comes to battery life, it's not even close. The Vivo X Note destroys the Note 20 Ultra when it comes to overall battery life. Next, let's talk about wireless charging. Okay, the Vivo X Note comes with 80-watt super fast wireless charge. No, I'm sorry, excuse me. My apologies. The Vivo X Note comes with 50-watt super fast wireless charging. So you can go from 0 to 100% 40 minutes. That's impressive. That's the way it should be, especially, in 2023. The Note 20 Ultra, unfortunately, 15 watts fast wireless charging. I don't even really want to say fast because you're talking 2 hours and 42 minutes. With this, you're talking 40 minutes. So it's like night and day. Why Samsung still refuses to up the wireless charging on their devices is beyond me. But 50-watt wireless charging on the Vivo and only the mediocre 15 watts on the Note 20 Ultra is just pathetic. Next, let's talk about fast wired charging. So the Vivo X Note comes with 80-watt wired charging, 0 to 100%, 30 minutes. That's what I'm talking about. With the Note 20 Ultra, 25-watt fast wired charging. You're looking at about an hour and 15 minutes. So that's disappointing. Now, that's not the worst, but that's disappointing when you're talking 30 minutes here. Hour and 15 minutes, that's, to me, that's not fast, honestly. But it is what it is. So if you want faster charging speeds, whether it be wired, wirelessly, you want to check out the Vivo X Note. Samsung is just slow. Next, let's talk about reverse wireless charging, otherwise known as power share. Okay? With the Vivo X Note, you're getting 10-watt reverse wireless charging. With the Note 20 Ultra, you're only getting 4.5-watt reverse wireless charging. I don't know why Samsung gave this phone less reverse wireless charging, because on the Note 10 Plus, it was 9 watts. Then they dropped it down to 4.5 watts. And also, let me say this too. With the Note 10 Plus that came out came out a year before this device, came with 45-watt super fast wired charging. And then they reduced it down to 25 in the following year, which made no sense. So I don't know what Samsung is doing. Now they're back up to 45, which to me is considered slow compared to phones like this that's giving you 80, 50, and 10. Next, let's talk about expandable storage. Now, this is where the Note 20 Ultra has the leg up. You get expandable storage on here up to 1 terabyte. But keep in mind, this was the last premium device from Samsung that got expandable storage. Okay, the S20 Ultra and the Note 20 Ultra was the last two premium devices by Samsung that gave you expandable storage. With the Vivo X Note, there is no expandable storage. So keep that in mind. If you're the type of person like me that needs expandable storage, then you want to go with the Note 20 Ultra. Next, internal storage. The Vivo X Note comes with 256 gigs of internal storage standard. The Note 20 Ultra standard storage capacity is 128. Now, there is a 256 variant and a 512 variant, just like there's a 512 variant of this phone, but there's no 128. So when you start out with the Vivo, you're starting out with 256. With the Samsung, unless you get the larger variant, if you get the base model, you're looking at 128 gigs of internal storage. Next, let's talk about processor and chipset. So with the Vivo X Note, you're getting the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1. And with the Note 20 Ultra, you're getting the Snapdragon 865 Plus. Now, both of these have great processors and chipsets in them. They run both really well. So, no issue with either of the processors and the chipset. They both run very, very well. Next, let's talk about software updates. So, both of these devices come with Android 13. However, the Vivo X Note is going to be updated to Android 15 with 2 to 3 more years of security updates. With the Note 20 Ultra, Android 13 was the last software update for this device. It does have maybe 6 or 7 months more left of security updates, and then that'll be it as far as any software or security updates for this device. Now, keep in mind, that does not matter to everybody. Okay, it doesn't matter to me. That's why I'm keeping this device regardless. This is by far the most used device that I own, because my SIM card never comes out of this phone. Okay, I switch back and forth with my T-Mobile and my other AT&T with my secondary phone, but my Note 20 Ultra never comes out of my pocket. Okay, this is my most used device, but I don't care about having the latest version of One UI or Android, and I ain't worried about security updates. It has built-in security, and I could also put a VPN on here if I need to. But just to let you know, one is going to be good for the next 2 to 3 years, This one is going to be finished with security updates either by the end of this year or the beginning of next year. Next, let's talk about performance. Now, I got to be honest, when it comes to performance, the Vivo X Note is killing the Note 20 Ultra when it comes to overall performance. This is just a faster phone, and this is a smoother phone, especially with your animations. It's silky smooth. Now, I'm not saying the Note 20 Ultra is not smooth, because it is smooth, but it is not smooth compared to this phone. It's just not. Just look. Just look at the animation. It's just not as smooth. Now, maybe the S23 probably has smoother animations, but I'm comparing the Note 20 Ultra, and the animation and the fluidity is just not the same. This is a much smoother device and a much faster device. No question about it. Next, let's talk about operating systems. So with the Vivo X Note, you're dealing with Origin OS. And with the Note 20 Ultra, you're dealing with One UI. So both of them have their own skins. Which skin do I prefer? I got to go with One UI, because it has all the features that I like and that I want. And it's just more custom, I'm not saying it's more customizable. It is a little bit more customizable, but I just like One UI is my favorite skin on any Android device. It's number one. Now, I don't dislike Origin. It's good, but I like One UI better. So when it comes to overall skins, I prefer One UI. But Origin, this device is highly customizable and comes with a ton of features, which I will be getting into soon. Matter of fact, we get into that now. Special features. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person, when I'm looking for a phone, I want a phone with features. I want a phone that I can have fun with. I want some features, and I can tweak this and tweak that and have this and have that. Like, I love a phone with features. That's why Pixel phones are really awesome, but they're not my favorite because they're boring. Now, for those of you that don't care about features, then the Pixel phone is perfect for you, or stock Android, or whatever you want to call it. I like a phone that got a ton of features, so I can have fun with my phone. I like to have fun with my device. I like to make a lot of different changes with my device. So let me just run down to you a bunch of special features that come with the Vivo X Note. First is, it has an IR blaster. That means a universal remote control, and I absolutely love that. Okay, comes with an alert slider, just like OnePlus, so you could go from having the phone and vibrate or having the phone where it'll ring. I love having that alert slider. It's not as advanced as the OnePlus, because they got you go from sound to vibrate to complete silence, but they give you two choices on here, which still works for me, so I like it. Now, when we talk about dynamic effects, this is cool. I wish Samsung had these on their devices. You get home screen transition animation, home screen entering animation, and after unlock. These are all the animations you get, okay? You get a lock screen fingerprint icon animation. You get a fingerprint recognition animation. You get a face recognition animation. You get an ambient light effect. You get a charging animation. You get USB insertion animation. Now, these are all variations. You get different variations of these animations. Screen on and screen off animation. Weather backgrounds animation. Origin player animation. You get ultra game mode, privacy mode, extended RAM, which I talked about earlier, double tap to wake and sleep the screen, and floating notifications. Now, keep in mind, this phone still has even more special features that I didn't even mention. I don't want to name them all, because I'd be over an hour with this review, with this comparison, I mean. Now, I don't want to do that. But this thing comes with a ton of features, and I like that. Now let's talk about the special features of the Note 20 Ultra. Of course, these are my favorite. I always write down my favorite. Edge panels, edge lighting, secure folder, Samsung DeX, Samsung wallet with MST, meaning magnetic secure transmission. Basically, you can use this phone on any credit card terminal, unlike the newer devices, which they removed the MST. You only can use it on the newer devices. But with this phone, you can still use them on any credit card terminal. Samsung Pass, Good Lock, one-handed mode, side key, Bixby routines, link to Windows, call and text on other devices, smart things, secure Wi-Fi. Basically, when you're at home, you turn on that secure Wi-Fi button and it will encrypt all of your Wi-Fi data. Next, music share. Samsung Notes. Now, Samsung Notes is vital for me because this is the app where I use to make these videos. Like, I put all my notes and everything in Samsung Notes. That's how I make my videos. So, Samsung Notes is a must for me. Next, Good Guardians, Private Share, the Bluetooth S Pen, which is something that the Vivo Note does not come with, no stylus. This comes with a built-in Bluetooth S Pen stylus. So, and everybody that, have the Note actually use the S Pen, all the wonderful and great things that the S Pen can do. And lastly, you got floating notifications. Now, I did not name every single special feature when it comes to the Note 20 Ultra either. So both of these devices are packed and loaded with features, so you will have fun with either device. I just prefer the features more so on the Note 20 Ultra. And last but not least, let's talk about these cameras. Now, both of these devices have great cameras on them. They really do. I can't really pick one over the other. There are some advantages, one, over the other. But let me just give you the specs on the cameras. Now, with the Vivo X Note, it comes with a 50 megapixel wide with laser autofocus with optical image stabilization. You're also getting an 8 megapixel periscope telephoto with optical image stabilization, 5 times optical zoom, and 60 times hybrid zoom. So you could go as much up to 60 times zoom with the Vivo X Note. But you're also getting a 12 megapixel telephoto with 2 times optical zoom. So you're getting 2 telephoto lenses with the Vivo X Note. Okay, one you're getting 2 times optical zoom, one you're getting 5 times optical zoom. So that's cool. And last, you're getting a 48 megapixel ultra wide. So you're getting 4 lenses on the Vivo X Note. You're only getting 3 on the Samsung. Just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to video, you can shoot at 8K at 30 frames per second, 4K at 60, 1080p at 60, and also 10 times zoom on your videos. With the selfie, you get a 16 megapixel wide that shoots video at 1080p at 30 frames per second. Unfortunately, there's no 4K and no 1080p at 60 frames per second on the Vivo X Note. Now, let's talk about the cameras on the Note 20 Ultra. First, you're getting a 108 megapixel wide with laser autofocus and optical image stabilization, a 12 megapixel periscope telephoto with optical image stabilization and 5 times optical zoom and 50 times hybrid zoom. You're also getting a 12 megapixel ultra wide. So you're only getting 3 as opposed to the 4. And no 10 times optical zoom. Did I say that right? I'm sorry. No 2 times and 5 times optical zoom. Okay? Only 5 times optical zoom with your with your Samsung. All right, so just 5 times, no 2 times. But doesn't matter because this camera up to at least 30 times zoom, you're still going to get beautiful, beautiful pictures. So, the 2 times or the 5 times or whatever is not that big of a deal, honestly, to be honest with you. Now, when it comes to video, shoots video 8K at 24 frames per second. So remember with this one, 8K at 30. So you're going to get a little bit more stabilization and a little bit more smoother video with the 8K than you would of the Note 20 Ultra. You're also getting 4K at 60 and 1080p at 60 and 20 times zoom. So you're getting more video zoom with the Note 20 Ultra than that of the Vivo X Note. You're only getting 10 times. Now with the selfie, you're getting a 10 megapixel wide dual pixel lens, and it shoots video up to 4K at 60 frames per second and 1080p at 60 frames per second. So you're getting 4K at 60 on this device, but no 4K or even 1080p at 60. You're getting 4K at 60 and 1080p at 60 on the front-facing camera of the Note 20 Ultra. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to cameras, both of these are great, honestly. Check out my full review on both of these devices, then you'll see the photo and video quality of both, and you can make a decision which one you think looks best. To me, I can go with either one. They both take great photos and great videos. They both have pro modes on them. They both have night mode and portrait mode and all these different kind of modes. The camera, is loaded down. You could just have a lot of fun with both of these cameras, but they're both excellent. Now, matter of fact, the Note 20 Ultra is what I film all of my YouTube videos on. So just from that should tell you how great or how satisfied I am with the video quality of the Note 20 Ultra. But I'm telling you right now, the cameras on the Vivo X Note are awesome. I mean, they really are. And remember, you are getting 2 telephotos and 4 lenses altogether. But 4 lenses don't automatically make a camera better than a camera that only has 3. So, in my opinion, if I give a grade as far as cameras on both of these, I give them both an A+. That's my opinion, just based on my experience with both of these devices. So, also consider this: if you made it all the way to the end, you're gonna pay substantially, if I said that right, less for the Note 20 Ultra than that of the Vivo X Note. You're still gonna be paying in the 700s for this device, unless you can find it secondhand for a lot less, but it's still somewhat expensive compared to that of the Note 20 Ultra. Note 20 Ultra, you should be able to get around $400 and something dollars, maybe in some cases less than $400, but still it's going to be a lot less than that of the Vivo X Note. And keep in mind, because this is a much newer device compared to the Note 20 Ultra. So thank you all for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. I do recommend both of these devices. Which one you go with is completely up to you. I'm not sure. I think they make a global ROM for this one, but I'm not 100% sure. But like I said, I got the Chinese ROM. Not an issue for me. Everything's in English. Of course, there's some Chinese apps on here. They don't bother me at all. Not at all. And I'm getting great call quality, 5G service. No issues whatsoever with this Chinese ROM. So whether you go with the Chinese ROM, if there's a global ROM out there, I'm not sure. Check with Giztop. Check with eBay. They may have it. But I've had no issues with Chinese ROM. But I highly recommend both of these devices. They're both great. But, in some areas, this is just better. The screen is just better. The battery life is better. The battery charging speeds is better. Okay, so there are some things better about this device. Now, the speakers are better on the Note 20 Ultra. Of course, you got that S Pen, you got Samsung DeX. You got some things on here that are better than that of the Vivo. Matter of fact, like I said, I like the skin with One UI than that over Origin. But I love both of these devices. That's why I have them, and that's why I use both of them heavily. But this is the device that never comes out of my pocket, ever. So thank you all for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. Hope everybody out there is staying safe and staying well. And I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.